Okay, we're back. What happened to my game audio? Yeah, there we go. We're back. Back in business. And of course now I need to remute everything. There we go. So welcome back to Ramazan Iron Man. It's been a bumpy ride. We've survived 2, maybe 3 wars with the Ottomans. None of them were that pleasant. The game still has Iron Man status, so I haven't been hit with that bug, thankfully. So to recap, we started off with our one province in Adana, we annexed Dulkadir, Karaman, Kandar, and we took 2 provinces off of the Ak horde. We also took Trebizond, however when we annexed and released Byzantium they got Trebizond, so that was unfortunate, but I was never going to be able to convert it anyway. Let's get back into it. Just wrapped up the war with the Ottomans, in which we took Mentis for myself and returned the core Epirus to Byzantium. Trouble with restarting is I always forget where I was and what I was doing. Maintaining my alliance with Poland should probably be quite high on the agenda, so we'll improve relations with them swiftly. The fleet's in good nick, although I'm still well above force limit, so I'm not paying for them right now. One of the most recent things that happened was Cyprus, which had been annexed by the Mamluks, defected back to Byzantium. Quite useful. I only hope that Rhodes does the same thing. Trouble with where I am right now is expansion opportunities are severely limited, because I've got my alliance with the Mamluks to the south, and Kara Crimea and Ottomans have some kind of triple alliance going on, which is fairly impenetrable. I could consider absconding to North Africa, but Tripoli is under vassalage of the Mamluks, and if I start getting in their way here, could mean bad things in the future. So I get the mission to remove the Ak horde, but I don't know why it gives me that when they're a vassal. And they're a vassal of Crimea, so if I attack them, Crimea gets called in, and Crimea will definitely bring in the Otto scum. So it kind of blocks off that one. Bosnia is too big to really pound any nails into. Considering It's not beyond realms of possibility to punch Serbia out of them. But I always fear that if I have someone weak on this side, the Ottomans will just curb stomp them and give easy war score. And of course, weak little Byzantium is here, but not much I can do about that. Naxos and Corfu are still on the Venetian leash. However, Venice is not very strong. They declared war on the Mamluks, and although they did take Cyprus back, they certainly didn't hold on to it, so Venice could be seen as a target, but I really don't want to exert any force over here because I would be, well, I got enough troubles at home, really. I've claimed just about everything I want to claim off of Ottoman. I might want to claim some of these Greek lands so they're a bit cheaper to give back to Byzantium, but I don't want to tie up my diplomat when I really should be seeing how I can expand. It's unfortunate that these guys are now hostile to me. They used to be not hostile. I think they were neutral or cordial. Anyway, I could stare at the map for hours, but we will just continue the game and see what it brings me. I'll not waste time. I will fabricate a claim. Thessaly. As good as any. Welcome to the stream, House09. People there should be able to explain vassals to you quite well, but basically they are your puppets. They can't do anything unless you tell them to. Georgia are already my vassal. The idea is that I would love to get them their land back, especially Circassia. If I had that, well, the gold would be a boon for sure. And I feel fairly confident in fighting Kara. I just don't feel confident in fighting Kara, Ottomans, Oman, and Crimea. That just wouldn't work out. It's a shame that Kara don't seem to have an obvious target that they're going to go for, otherwise I would guarantee them, in the hopes to be brought into a war that I can take advantage of. What is more, right now the Ottomans have a fairly long-lasting truce with me. It's almost 5 whole years. If I were able to tie up Kara in a war with me, then they'd be on their own. Another approach could be to, what the hell? Rumble in Ragusa. Yeah, okay. Another idea would be to throw a spanner in Crimea's works if I were able to kind of get in the face of one of their targets. I could single them out and force them to break their alliance with the Ottomans. But it's kind of tight, you know. I could declare conquest on Naxos, bring Corfu in as well. I'd be able to get both of them given back to Byzantium. Trouble with that is I would need naval superiority over Venice, and I would need to hold that naval superiority right here. I don't see that as being all that possible. I would take attrition there, which is the big killer. Of course I could sink their fleets. Apologies for the coughing. I could sink their fleets initially. If this seems a somewhat slow-paced game, that's because I really don't want to die. Venice have 21 lightships and 14 galleys. They also have the same naval ideas that I do, so I would have to very much overpower them. Which is very possible. I have a lot of galleys, I have the naval ideas myself, I suppose I should show them. I really wanted to take administrative early on for the reduced core creation cost, which will stack with my own national idea. But it was very important that I have a navy that can block off the Ottomans, and that has saved me in all my wars with them. Lucky I did set the audio setting to whatever that one is, and I have the mic pointing at my face. Actually, it might sound different. This is me looking at the mic, and this is me looking at the stream. At the screen rather. I don't want to have the mic between me and the screen. I think that is what I'll do. I will declare war on Naxos, and I will try to draw in all my friends. With naval superiority I can occupy these provinces, and the best thing about having superiority is that I could occupy Venice. Well, Venezia. With the war score I get from that, that would be 3 provinces for Byzantium. And as much as I hate feeding that disgusting Greek scum, it's kind of important for my survival. Money flowing early on in the game. Take land, core it quickly, and reduce your maintenance whenever you're not fighting. So I've got my maintenance at almost the bare minimum. Vassals give you some income, it can be shown here. So each month I'm making 1.76 ducats from my vassals. Now, considering my overall economy, you know, that's more than all of my production put together. So it's it's pretty good. I'm gonna recall my guy who's sucking up to Poland in the hopes that I can declare on Naxos. With the eve of war coming, I'll jack up my maintenance. I'll only barely be breaking even. Piety does not affect your naval morale, so it's not overly important that I get it for this, but I'd still rather have it. So let's burn this blasphemer at the stake. Which finally gives me enough to convert Armenia, but it'll take far too long unless I get an advisor. I don't have an available advisor for that. In fact, I'm not overly keen on spending any of my money on advisors at the moment. Now, this is going to seem quite cheap, and you're right if you think so, but I'm going to try and catch the Venetian fleets unaware. If I can sink them as fast as possible, it'll make the whole war go a lot smoother. should also check and see if the Mamluks will join me. Again, if they join me, a lot easier. They will not. Also, Venice has some very powerful allies, including Aragon. I don't think I could defeat Aragon's fleet. Well, forget don't think. I am all but sure that I could not defeat his fleet. So I will actually have to reconsider that move. It's unfortunate, but going toe-to-toe with Aragon without any allies on my side would be suicide. Which is why it's quite difficult to expand. I can't start aggressive wars and call in my allies at the same time. They will usually not be interested because the Mamluks are friendly, which is great, but Poland is cordial, and cordials tend not to join aggressive wars. Well, that's good. That diplomatic power kind of replaces what I spent on this guy. France has a considerable fleet. But I don't think they'd be able to do much damage, not in the Mediterranean. It's Aragon that worry me. 17 galleys, but galley combatability increase. Actually, I am going to go for it. Byzantine and Georgia are my vassals. The Mamluks and Poland are my allies. Poland has Lithuania in personal union, which makes it very effective up here. Although in a previous defensive war against the Ottomans, they still got curb stomped. Once my morale fills up, I'll try and scope out targets. Naval targets, that is. I want to try to sink the biggest fleet from the get-go. One, maybe two more ticks, and I should have enough. Alright, perfect. Now, I want to sink the biggest collection of galleys involved in this war, and that'll be a Venetian lot over here somewhere. This is a real dick move, but hey, I'm not going to pull any punches here. and now in the same sea zone as 22 Venetian ships. I declare my war, and yeah, unsurprisingly my friends won't join in. But as long as I can secure Naxos itself, I'll get maybe about 27 war score from that. And as long as I defeat any ships that try to mess with me, bearing in mind I can repair in coastal sea zones, I might just make it. They've got Diptech 7, so they'll probably have improved morale. Yeah, quite a bit. But maybe, just maybe, not enough. For the glory of Ramazan. Straight away I break into a fight with them, and because they did not have their maintenance up at all, this should work. Yeah, it worked, but maybe not well enough. I got plenty of ships that are going to cost me a lot of money. That's not what I want. He's bringing in more ships. Again, they got no morale. They just get blitzed. I'm trying to remember a trick that there used to be where you could just instantly wipe ships that were in this situation, but I can't remember it. Well, it looked something like that. Keeping a close eye on the ship numbers. They outnumber me heavily. But I just have to make sure they don't launch any invasions. Got one of my ships there. This isn't good because as soon as Aragon marches in, he's going to pick up quite a bit of the slack. I'm just trying to bait these ships out with some of mine. Well, we're chipping away at it, but chipping's not what I need. What I need is Byzantium to kind of march over there and do his job. Yeah, he'll evade me there. That's unfortunate. Got more cogs than I really need, and they're going to be costing me a lot of money. Rest in peace, Cogwall. Oh, Lucas, picking up the slack. Good to see Byzantium is taking care of that. Oh, bugger it. he kind of outmaneuvered me there, which was quite a fault on my part. And not holding on to the province that I've declared war for is going to be kind of punishing. So I need to make my move on Naxos right now. Well, Byzantium has been stomped on several times. It's only right, but it does explain why they have not got much of an army. That's what we want to see. Taking the enemy fleet apart bit by bit. Divide and conquer and all that. Speaking of things that please me, Byzantium converting their provinces away from the Orthodox faith. I quite like the Orthodox faith, but they're no Sunni, you know what I'm saying? With respect to my provinces, I want them Sunni side up. Also, these guys will try to retreat to Naxos, but they won't be allowed to. Oh, well, I said try. Only requires 2 infantry to take care of, so off they go. Actually, maybe Byzantium's up to the task. Go get him, dog. Worthless. What? Oh, buggery. That's what happens when you take your eyes off things. I won't be able to intercept that fast enough. Also, judging by the size of it, I don't think I want to. I have made an error here, that's for sure. Fortunately, I've got a fairly large pool of manpower, so assuming I can rip this fleet apart fast enough and move on to the Venetian fleet, should be able to hold steady here. That was satisfactory. They arrive on the 11th, I might just be able to cock block them. No guarantees though. No, it's just out of reach. As good a time as any to increase my fighting ability. I don't know how good France is, but it's probably considerably better than me. Tech 8. They're gonna have more tactics, better cavalry, better infantry. I don't fancy my chances. That I fancy though. That's a good victory over the ships. Comparatively speaking, I've got the naval front sorted. I'm really thankful that my ships repair in sea zones. Try and remove Bosnia from the equation. Easier done than said. These provinces should hold out a long time. They don't have the... Yes, you will see pretty borders, Lucas. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, girlie. You'll be safe in here. Oh no, France. No. Oh well, he is going to land in Epirus in time. Might be prudent to back away a bit here. Also, it'll cost me a lot of money, but I really need to have more troops on hand. Running away. Typical French. I should concentrate on capturing my war goal at the moment. Not that I'm too worried about them landing in Byzantium. Hell, it's troops that won't be landing in Venice. I want to keep that high, piety high. It gives very good morale bonuses. And that should be the last we see of French reinforcements. Okay, fortunately that shouldn't matter at all. Things that do matter, though, is that Venetian breach in Karaman. Even if I fight the Venetians there, Karaman is very mountainous. I don't want to afford myself the micromanagement of ships at Naxos. It'll progress along fine enough as it is. Is what a fool would say. Yeah, it would just take France to stroll along to Naxos to really wreck my day. And France loves wrecking your day. Now that's beautiful. Greek patriots in Corfu, they should defect. Because Corfu is at war, they might not collapse them, but I hold out. Hold out a bit of hope. I want to get my troops off of there, though. I need to get them back for this battle. Well, this series of battles is going to be like a homeland gauntlet. Right, fingers crossed here, because this battle could have a very large impact on the war. If it wrecks my troops, then that's very bad news for me, isn't it? Well, I've taken the full penalty here. 2 for desert mountains, and 1 for crossing the river. Denmark's doing pretty well. Don't know what you're saying. Come on, a good shot roll. Mediocre is not good. That's good. They'll be marching into somewhere where I, this time, will have the advantage. Well, that's just not kosher. The occupations in Byzantium are causing more war score than I'd anticipated. I don't expect I'll get peace for like maybe 5 or 7 years, because the negatives are just so high. Also, I doubt there's anything I could really offer France that they'd be interested in. I would need to just concede defeat, and yeah, the war is going to have to go on for a few more years until they will accept that. Of course, during those few years, there's always the risk that the Ottoman will see me as a soft target, and they would be right. Saving grace would be that the Mamluks in Poland should come to my aid. Might not, but they should. Just dismissing anything other than galleys and cogs, and even cogs, I'm dismissing most of those. Everything I have is eating into my naval support limit. And money is, well, I'm bleeding money as it is. Kinda wish I had the fleet range, though. More fleet range would mean I could be looting places. As it stands, this might be an ideal place to loot. Scratch one bogey. Okay, Aragon don't have any cannons backing them, and their military tech is, well, it's on par with mine, although they still got Western troops. Let's just hope this works a bit better. Keep that in relation good with Poland. I fired my statesman, so I don't really have the bonus to my diplomatic reputation. It helps keep the alliance going. Now, this is very nice. I'm fighting on 21% of Northeast, which is grasslands, and we're getting brilliant rolls to go with it. Sometimes fortune does favour the brave, not always though. Where in the world did the Venetians go? I mean, seriously, where? They ran away and then turned to dust. Every bit of war score is welcome here. Drop off a couple thousand men. They won't take attrition because it's my land. At least hopefully they won't. I want to get a quick look at this to see if these blockades are going to be worthwhile in terms of money. Bearing in mind I'm bleeding 3 ducats a day, a month. And I'm making almost half a ducat on these blockades alone. Venice would be even more lucrative, but unfortunately. Suppose I only really need a couple of galleys back home. Just to blockade this, help the siege go a little faster. They got the defensive bonus this time, but it just doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't like this whole ducat drain. Cramping my style. This I do like though. Greek patriots are trying to make their way to Epirus. However, Milan, ever popular Milan, are blocking them from marching over. They're loyal to Byzantium, so they would release that land for them. Considering the contenders, I'm happy with 0 war score right now. What I'm not happy with is the only 1 year of truce I have left with the Ottoman. Not that he's any more of a threat to my troops than before, but the problem is that he still has an impressive navy. And between Aragon, France, Venice and the Ottomans, I don't fancy my chances. 20 galleys, and he has naval as his first idea as well. Also, my main navy is kind of split up. Oh, we're getting patriotic here in Corfu. Wow, isn't that something? At the very least, because they're peasants, if it does get owned by peasantry, I won't lose the war score for not occupying it. So, there's something. France are even less likely to want peace with me now, because they've generated some war score against me for taking Byzantine lands. As for Aragon, I would not touch those French troops with an 18-foot barge pole. The cost would be immense, in manpower and in the money to raise them. I'm just going to let them do as they please. Ending this war would mean releasing Byzantium, something I absolutely do not want to do. Wouldn't be the end of the world, it'd be small enough to revassalize, but that would put me back a lot of steps. France is on fire here. This is not looking good. Right. Let's get to business. Corfu's finally defected. Just one more for Busy Blob. Yeah, I can see what you mean there, Tandy, but unfortunately that's not the case. It's time to go on the offensive. There is no time. Four should do it. Sail on, my sons. It's a shame, I kind of want to dock this fleet because it might get caught out. No, this is interesting. It might be that Corfu's existence... No, I do take attrition here. And they have their troops on the capital. The capital's kind of what I wanted, but doesn't mean I can't do this a different way. They have military access through Austria, so that's not a good idea to attack there. What if I baited them out? I might lose these men. I wouldn't cry over it. Ah, damn it. I was kind of hoping I could bait these guys away. Yeah, that's the idea. If I could lure them off of Venezia, then I could move in for the kill. Take the capital. It doesn't look like that'll happen though. I might just have to draw the war out. Opportunity knocks. No war score for it though. More rebel scum. When I lose Nexus, that's a staggering amount of war score to drop. Speaking of things that drop dead. Now, the existence of Corfu might lighten up the situation a little bit. I could trap the French on it. Look at that. This money, man, this total lack of money. Well, I've got more galleys than I started the war with, and there's less to deal with now. Getting rid of them dropped my naval maintenance by a long way. That, and I can reinstitute war taxes. Keep me in the green now. Even with even with full expenditure. Never a good sign. Ottomans have me embargoed now. If there's one mistake I'm making, I should have been sieging this Crete province long ago. Good call. Poland would not join, but again that's because they're cordial and it's an offensive war. If the Ottomans would declare on me, I'm fairly confident Poland would join. And since Lithuania is still in their personal union, that's a fantastic sign for me. Could be that that's the only thing dissuading them from... Yes! Whew. That could have gone one way or the other. Because of the Iberian wedding, Aragon has been forced out of this war. I no longer have to worry about their ships or their troops. My delay there was the fear that Castile might have been called in. Often in these situations, for some bizarre reason, it pulls out the... Let's say Aragon was at war with France and then Castile got the Iberian wedding. It would pull Aragon out of the war with France, but put Castile in it. It's a very bizarre system that they have. I'm not even sure if it's intended. All I know is that it's bollocks. And that it didn't happen for me. No sense putting myself at any unnecessary risk against the French. Oh, lucky. I should be quite concerned that the French have access to the Ottomans. Makes me wonder how they were able to retreat there. Seriously, how did they get there? Alright, the loss of Naxos has, as expected, severely dampened my war score, but war score not really the issue at the moment. Survival is what it is. My paintbrushes. I don't often like paying down my war exhaustion, but in a fight like this, I'll be paying for anything. Of all the times that the Ottomans could declare on me, now would probably be the worst time. My troops are so tied up in Greece, I would not have time to flee. I'm really not sure about this whole protectorate thing. Ethiopia is a protectorate of the Mamluks now. I mean, I hear it can be good, it gives you a 25% tech bonus, but I don't know, just not liking the system really. The whole point of this war was to swiftly take Naxos and then demand it and potentially Crete for Byzantium. Reason being that I thought I could just snipe Venetia for a bit of extra war score, and that my fleet would be able to keep my land completely secure. As it stands, none of those things happen. This is a defensive war where we need to help our ally against Denmark and Sweden. And potentially Muscovy. Well, hey, why not? Well, the real reason why not is because Denmark could sail their ships around here and blitz me because the AI does not take naval attrition. But as long as Muscovy doesn't join in that. Remember what I was saying about the absolute worst time that the Ottomans could declare on me. Thankfully, Poland has joined in. Unthankfully, they march on me. Hold. Damn. Oh, baby, that's bad. The Ottomans have fairly successfully divided and conquered my fleet with their superior numbers. I guess that we roll the waves event is a little outdated. Already. And Muscovy did join in this war to the north, so I can't really count on Poland and Lithuania. Nor am I in any position to really defeat these Muscovite forces. And my navy is now a shell of what it was in the blink of an eye. That isn't good. Not by a long shot. So reconquests of the Ottomans are going to be out for, well, for example, if I were to offer tribute to them, they would want all that. Terrifying. And when they build up war score, they're only going to want more. And the Mamluks are behind in tech. Oddly enough, I've got better military tech. I don't think that'll protect me, but it is good to know. Ah, here he comes. Unfortunately, I really can't save any of my troops right now. Although I do have Crete. Oh, wow. This looks like the end of the road for Ramazan. There's little I can do to defend myself against any of these guys, unfortunately. Oh, and I lost all my boats. My cogs. Plus side, the Danish war is going well. Not that I think Poland and Lithuania can topple 140,000 troops. Very little I can bring to the table here. Troops that I can't move. And I've lost my naval superiority. Completely under siege. That would end one war, but it wouldn't really solve anything. Yeah, Cyprus will fall as well. Come on, winner takes all. One slight plus to this war is that Ottomans are going to have to specifically take Karaman in order to build up war score. So as long as I defend it, I get war score for that. Of course, I can just lose war score from any other way, and the odds that Karaman will somehow hold out are very slim. I've bounced back from slightly worse. Slightly. The peasants are still on Naxos. Unfortunately, there's little for me to do other than just watch my country and my allies get ravaged. Poland and Lithuania are tied up in their own thing up north. There was a point early in the game where I could have secured an alliance with Karakoin, well, this horde here. Unfortunately, I chose to pursue a Polish alliance over that. Can't help but feel that this alliance would have been more useful. Mostly because they were an Ottoman ally, so if Ottoman had declared war, Kara would have had to side with me over Ottomans. Not Dulcadir. My very first conquest. They got their war goal. But at least I got Crete. Caraman, Mentis, and Castamao. I think the biggest punishment that'll be will be to my naval supply limit. It's down to 9. As has been mentioned before, I have come back from worse. A slight advantage, if it can be called that, is that I now have reconquest upon the Ottomans. And I still am maybe able to defeat the Venetian fleet with what I have right now. Maybe. Well, Ramazan's still considerably better off than they were at the start. Oh yeah, the French, who I don't think will accept anything. Yeah, not even remotely. Yes, I'm playing with a random new world. Admire it. Right, I've done all I can to gain war score against these guys by blockading. And that will end the vassalization of Georgia. Not good. I hired a troop there so that they could only demand so much money off me. I cancelled the troop to make my money back, prevent me from taking out any loans. And back we go to a pretty sorry situation, but not an irrecoverable one. Byzantium is still my vassal. In fact, he grew slightly larger out of this war, although he's about to grow a little less. More than half of Byzantium's land is Orthodox, so this will probably flip them to Orthodox. Oh, what? The Mamluks have become hostile towards me. Hostile with under-native relations. Although, to be fair, if somebody dragged me into a horrible war like that, I would see them as quite hostile. Right, I'm going to call it on this very sad note. My empire has been ripped asunder by a series of blunders by myself. Although I'll try to think how I could do it differently. I can't reload that save. This is Iron Man. I'm not sure if I'll continue this or attempt again. But I need to go to bed right now. It's... what time is it? It is 1:50 AM here in Scotland, so I'm going to head to bed. Thanks for sharing this terrible moment with me. But where's the fun if you just win all the time, right? Over and out.